Hey everybody, welcome back to WeLikeDota and the WeLikeDota Community Night. We're joining a game already in progress. This is a remake of the previous match for the Community Night.
Disruptor.
We're repicking the
Smart,
heroes who are picked in the draft.
Well-dressed. What's not to like?
That's the reason for the unusual all-pickness. Getting underway in just a moment. So rather than rehash all of the great analytical commentary that I gave over the draft session, we're just going to say, yeah, so Spectre, good hero. Spectre was a second pick on the Dire side, and that kind of led to all of the draft picks centering around him, which is why we see a number of tanks on the Radiant side, as well as some of the counter-picking that happened over here. Anyway, we'll walk our players in. The game is very hard tonight. So anyway, Growdy will be playing the Spectre, Silver Radicand on the Warlock, Plaid Pirate on the Witch Doctor, Juice on the Slardar, and Kwame will be playing the Disruptor. On the Radiant side, we have Orange running off to the off lane on Tidehunter. Dwarf SC will be on TA going mid, the 1X on Omni Knight.
Let's keep it clean, folks.
And in the safe lane, we've got Smooth on Lion, accompanying Sea Donkey on the Sven. Looks like they're going to group up here. They have a smoke? No, they're just going to go for a 4-man kill bottom. 2 shared tangos on the TA. They're going to go for the bottom rune. And we did have the Tidehunter quickly placing an observer ward here. Now this does block the pole camp, so that's a good play.
30 seconds to showtime.
Such an interesting game with we did have Juice as Slardar placing a ward here on the pole camp on Radiant side. So both pole camps blocked. Interesting plays. And Spectre very aggressively, oh, look at that, blocking the
and away we go.
Secondary camp. And they're just going to trade 1-for-1 on Bounty Runes. But now, this pole camp shenanigans stuff,
Radiant
right?
on one side, Dire on the other.
It used to be common logic in this camp, for example, that in order to deward it, you would deward by placing a sentry at the bottom. Like there. But that is no longer the case as the first priority. The first priority for dewarding this camp is now at the top, outside of the spawn box. But that would not find this one very easily. Well, I think that you would actually be able to find it. I think it's still in range of the sentry, but you would have to actually walk around because it wouldn't give you vision of it exactly. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually deward that. Now, speaking of the warding game, we do have another situation here at mid. We've got a deep ward here, which doesn't give them vision of the Ancients, but that's not important at this stage of the game. It does give them the wards and most of the mid lane, which is nice. We've got a tri-lane bottom. So Sven's going to try to last hit. Omni Knight and Lion in reserve, doing pulls and shenanigans, I'm sure, against a Slardar and Witch Doctor off lane. PA playing very aggressively against the Warlock mid. Gotta say, I don't really love the Warlock mid myself. He does need levels, but I feel like he doesn't do as much with them. And in this particular matchup, the Spectre, I think, dictates that they're going to be playing for a later game, which means that early levels on Warlock getting to Golem fast won't particularly help them, since the push is not as significant in the early game. Like, even if you can push to early towers, how much does that really help you if you're playing to a Spectre game? I don't know. Hard to say. Got a cast stun. We've got a crush. and Omni Knight do a little bit of heal and harm. Sven's gonna run with his stun, and now crush and run. Eating a hit in the back, but thought I was gonna get away. That crush was great though. He hit 3 opponents with it. That's almost a hat trick, right? In the world of Dota, hitting 3 heroes with a crush. Now we've got Disruptor playing a lot of harass early against the Tidehunter. It's one thing, Tidehunter's got a decent amount of passive block for physical attack damage with his Kraken Shell, but the amount of harass that you can put down with Thunder Strike will really make for a hard time on this Tidehunter. Being a solo offlaner, I don't think he's going to be able to stop the Spectre from farming. I don't know what you do in that situation. Like, what? All for rotations, right? What else can you do? Just try not to die. Try not to get too low. He does have a couple of Mangos and a couple of Tangos. Okay, 1 Tango. But, no mana on board, so he might have a hard time with this lane. In the meantime, let's see how this bottom lane's going. Purification's up. Stormhammer's up. Just looking to last hit, though. Purify is such a great ability. That's one of those things that really is deceptive. You know, you think you're safe going up against an Omni Knight or his lane partner, but then he just turns the table so quickly because it's not only does it do the healing, but that damage that radiates out from the purification is also really strong.
Radiant's bottom
Good lane partner.
better days.
In the meantime, we've got Warlock susceptible to a gank. Got a Lion with an smoke, just waiting in the wings, just looking for his opportunity to come in, but doing a good job of guessing range. But look at that, like, smoke drops. I don't think that was because of expiration, I think that was actually because of range. Got some pings. They know he's there. That was a communication ping. I could be mistaken. But TA's gonna go in on the Warlock, Lion for backup, but, you know, Lion does have 2 stuns on board. They're both level 1, but they're significant. But he's going to rotate to bottom and see if they can make something work with that. In the meantime... Ooh, Orange drew first blood by killing Growdy. So Tidehunter turning the tables on the Spectre. He did burn a lot of his regen in order to stay in lane. And he only has 1 Mango left. But that was, I'm sure, a good play. Spectre does die relatively easy in the early game. Doesn't really have a whole lot of options. He doesn't have a lot of right-click damage. He doesn't have an escape other than Spectral Daggering into the woods. So he's just really a weak laner at this stage of the game. But, you know, of course, that's not why you pick Spectre. You pick him because mid to late-ish game, he's the one who's going to carry your team, so not surprising if he feeds an early death. It's just the way it goes, and he'll definitely get back into it as long as you can make space for him. I guess that's one of the problems that I see with the Dire lineup just in general, is that in terms of space makers, they don't really have a lot. Disruptor can make space in lane, but they don't have a way to rotate over very easily outside of TP scrolls. Warlock won't really make a whole lot of space, being the mid laner. He can't rotate quickly, and the type of push damage that he can do with his golem is not the kind that moves over quickly either. Got a big fight. There's a crush on 2. And some healing from the Witch Doctor. And it looks like he also had a Maledict for a minute on the Sven. Now, Maledict is a great ability. Kind of a counterintuitive one. It's one where you have to throw down. It's got such a long pre-cast delay too that it's difficult to land. But it does do damage over time based on the amount of damage that people take after the Maledict is cast on them. This ward is really paying off here. This Observer ward just gives them so much information about the rotations that are coming in.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
I suspect that was one of the reasons they saw the TA come over. Warlock going on the TA now, throwing down his golem, willing to do that to push, as well as take out the rest of the creep wave. So it looks like he is indeed going to try to make space by push.
That's 4 in a row.
Golem's got a lot of duration left, not a lot of health. But TA can't really move in on it because she also does not have health. That means they're going to lose this mid tower pretty quickly, actually. Got a rotation. Lion's coming in. He's going to look for the disable. There's the Hex. And into the Earth Spike. Gonna go on it. TA is going to follow up. She didn't have a lot of health. She did movement trap him, though. And she's going to chase in, but he was able to throw down a Shadow Word to kill himself. It's a great heal and or harm. Well, heal or harm ability.
You know the drill.
Damage or heal over time is really strong. Definitely one of those abilities that's worth a value point. Especially when you want some sustain as a mid player. That was a good pickup. And he went actually 4 points. Wow, so maxed it early.
5 in a row.
Got a fight at bottom. Sven's able to throw out the Stormhammer, but he's going to fall before he's able to get away. And they're going to call for the Omni Knight not to go in on that. Earth Spike coming in, but with the Witch Doctor to heal, I don't think they can go on this. Larder is just too tanky even when he's low. Just because the nature of the heal there, it's a percentage heal, right? Heal 16. Okay. Cast comes out. Got a bit of a mana drain. Looking to sap some from the Slardar so that they can go in next on the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor not able to catch the Slardar with the mana boots, but going to turn around. They've got 3v2. He's running away with the heal on. Stormhammer comes out. They're going to hammer him down, and with the Purification able to end the Slardar's life there. Should give them an opportunity to push. But they may rotate out, and looks like Warlock might come in. He's thinking about it. Might have to go back mid, though. Indeed. So, a good fight. They're going to take 1 kill on the Slardar for free. 3 kill, right? 2 best words in Dota. Free kill. Spectre's going to farm the jungle here. Tidehunter looking to harass. Oh, and look at that. Does have his Blink Dagger online, able to Ravage back. Doesn't go after the Disruptor, but gets glimpsed back anyway because he wanted the Spectre. Gets crushed by a Slardar, put in a kinetic field. Now he's in trouble because he's at range outside of kinetic field. Oh, able to turn it around with a Water Spout and take out the Disruptor. Spectre's going to get out. So now there's a TP back for a rotation. Slardar really wants him, though. He's going to chase in. He's got a lot of health, though, with Kraken Shell at level 3. I don't think he's going to be able to get him there.
Technical difficulties.
There was a rotation over from Warlock. Spectre's now in trouble because he's got the blinking Tidehunter. He's playing very aggressively against him. A big stun from the ultimate coming down. Warlock Golem's out. They're going to try to chase him into the side shop. A blink into the trees, and he's going to walk out. That was a good blink, too. Orange definitely knows what he's doing with this blink dagger.
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
That's the best thing about blink dagger, actually. Being able to use it both offensively and defensively on the turn of a dime is so good.
Dire's mid tower won't last much longer.
Just the power of that item.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape. Dire's mid tower's nothing now.
So being the solo offlaner and forcing a rotation from 4 heroes, there was actually a Slaughter in the woods just a second ago, as well as the Disruptor, Inspector, and Warlock. Means that you're making space for your team. So what more could they ask for, right? Got a stack on Ancients, except, wow, look at all those. Look at all those golems. What the heck? I mean, Axe wants to take this, but who else wants this? TA wants it. She's gonna try. Oh my goodness. It's just bananas. All that health, all that resistance, all that spell immunity and granite aura. Ah, it's just miserable. Look at how much health they took from the lion. But what else are you gonna do, right? You gotta clear the camp. Ugh.
They'll never see this coming.
Gross. Okay, in the meantime, at bottom run. Looks like we've got Omni Knight. And an invisible disruptor who might scout him out in just a second if he could just hit the high ground.
Dire's top tower's
Yeah,
getting beat
he's got
down.
him scouted. Omni Knight might be in trouble here. They're gonna go in on him. There's the Haunt. Kinetic Field does not connect. They're gonna glimpse him back into it though. Woo! Spectre's gonna come in. Purification comes out, but he's still low, so they're gonna get him. Sea Donkey also in trouble. Sven's gonna fall as well. Good double pick off. Sven and Omni Knight go down in bottom lane.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
Radiant's mid tower.
The rotation's really playing to decent effect.
Dire might want to mine their top tower.
That Haunt reality is
Radiant's mid tower's in trouble.
real dangerous stuff when Spectre decides to come in on it. Especially against solo heroes, you know.
Radiant's bottom
One of the
tower.
things that gives him a lot of damage is when he's able to catch a solo hero out. Ravage comes out, catches 3 heroes. Kwami's in trouble. Able to throw down some damage before she goes down, but now Spectre's also on the run. Able to find a path out of the easy camp, but still gets cut down in the back by Tidehunter. Now it's a Stormhammer on an illusion, and the rest of the team is on the run. Warlock and Slara will get out, but that leaves the Radiant team to push.
Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
So despite the good invasion of the Radiant camp,
Dire's
or
mid tower
Radiant
won't last
jungle,
longer.
Radiant able to take an advantage with multiple heroes down. There's a zoning kinetic field.
The Dire best do something.
Tidehunter looking to play deep again. Oh, Warlock caught in the middle of 4 heroes.
Guess that's 10 in a row.
He did throw down a good stun, but pays for it with his life. No good deed goes unpunished. Cask out to annoy the team.
Guess what's happening to
So
Dire
many
bottom
bounces from that cask. Certainly lives up to its paralyzing name. But
Dire's
despite all of that,
tower's
despite the
getting
harass, despite the good intentions,
Dire gave
Radiant
up
is going to
bottom
take that tier
tower.
1. Oh, a big crush on the Omni Knight. Purification to try to save him, but even with that switch in the combat math, he's going to glimpse back, and with nowhere left to run, he'll get cut down. Lara picks up that kill. Radiant is spread out mid and top now. Looks like they're going to push up a little bit. And Spectre might find the Sven, or vice versa. Here comes the Stormhammer on the back of that. Let's see if they have some rotations in. No, it's going to be a one-on-one fight. Still enough to force the Spectre to haunt and reality out.
That's exact.
I feel like this is one of those games where Spectre just will not build Radiance. As with the other ones when we talked about it, the other community nights, that is. When Spectre has a good early game, Radiance is definitely an option. It gives him the opportunity to not only farm decently, but also that magical damage whenever he creates his haunt illusions is nice. Spreads a lot of damage around. But that damage falls off, it is magical, toward the late game. So, if you find yourself not really at an advantageous position in the early game, if you don't have a strong early game, Spectre, I think, comes online faster towards the mid/late game if you build into things other than Radiance. The other problem is it has such a high build-up. Sacred Relic's such an expensive item. Building into Radiance, that you're really giving yourself a lot of unreliable gold that can be stolen from you if you're dying.
Seriously, I lost count.
There's a drum charge. Slardar misses the crush because of a juke from Lion, but now we're under a kinetic field, which is pretty brutal at this point. Slardar with just another critical crush there, but will fall off the back of it. And Guardian Angel saving him from physical damage on the Omni Knight. Yeah, will eat a couple of hits, gets caught in a kinetic field. That's pretty dangerous for him, but there's no follow-up because I think it's just the Disruptor there. Witch Doctor, no, Warlock, sorry, is standing back from the fight. Spectre does decide to come in on this and might catch the Omni Knight. TA is trying to punish him for it. There's a movement trap as well. Oh, Spectre will fall off the back of the TA, and there's a Hexed Warlock Golem as well. Which is interesting. I don't think I've ever hexed a golem before. That was a pretty good play, though. Did enable the TA to pick up that extra farm and also stop the golem from chasing their teammate down.
Dire's top tower, you know the drill.
So many interactions in this game that are hard to keep track of. And that's just one of them. Like, how many times do you think about, like, what spell abilities can actually affect golems, right? I guess maybe if you're a dedicated Warlock player, it's a good reason to learn them. Slardar facing off against the Sven. Sven wanted a tower, Slardar says no. And a bit of a fight here. Tidehunter looking to solo the safe lane now. What an interesting animation that was. Huh. Okay. That's Gush, huh? Did they change that animation, or is that just like a special item or something? That changed the visual effect of Gush? Because I don't remember it looking like that in the past.
That's 4 in a row.
Good Ravage.
The dive and I won't mind the top down.
Tidehunter definitely knows the range of the Ravage because
How about that?
most of the time you see people do a Blink Ravage or look to capitalize on Ravage when they're in an open team fight, but ravaging across trees like that to catch an enemy is pretty slick, and that's definitely one of the lead-ups to that 4-man kill there.
The Dire might want to mind the top tower.
So with that, Radiant's going to push up and take this bottom tower.
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
TA rotating in for a little bit of the fun. I'd like to see this Lion shooting the tower too, but
Something about that bottom tower.
I guess they don't need it.
Dire just couldn't save that bottom tower. Dire's top tower's been disowned.
Have a long-lasting invis rune on the TA, so we can scout pretty effectively from this position. I don't think there are any... Oh, there is a ward. It's just an observer, though. So we should be safe. Still on a deep invis rune. And one of the ways to check to see if the enemies have sentries in an area is whether or not you draw creep aggro, which he did not. So he should know that he's safe there.
Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
Radiant will push up on the tier 2. And look to take high ground soon.
Dire's mid tower
Perhaps after a Roche,
technical difficulties.
which they do have vision of because of the psionic trap from
Dire couldn't
TA.
hang on to that mid tower.
Anticipating a mid push, Warlock throws down his upheaval at mid, but that's a deep channeled spell, so he's just going to sit there on it. Rowdy eats a team rotation, and that's going to mean Spectre's going to fall, take him down for another 35 seconds. Radiant doing everything they can to shut the door on this fight. Sven caught in the middle of the kinetic field, a natural one, doesn't have to be glimpsed into it. But even with that, the glimpse pushes the Tidehunter back, but they're still going to come in. Looking to break high ground at top. Warlock now having to turn toward the fight, which is very dangerous, but TA cutting him down in the back. The rest of the team rotating. And it looks like with a team wipe, they're going to take this tower and this Rax.
Dire's top tower.
We've got a GG call. Looks like Dire's willing to end it. It's an 8 to 25 with high ground broken, and so that's a reasonable time to call it. So overall, good coordination. Good plays on Tidehunter, I think, sealed that game, as well as good rotations on the Spectre. Kind of taking him out of contention, so overall very well played. And gotta say, MVP of the match, probably Tidehunter. Yeah, so good game, guys. Well played. And hope everybody has a good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. Thanks for paying attention to the WeLikeDota community. Hope to see you in one of these future games. Check us out, WeLikeDota.reddit.com. Yeah, have a good night.